Coach, Broncos are coming off a tough home loss against Pitt and then make the long trip out west to take on San Jose State. Just give us your thoughts on the weekend, and then we'll get going with the Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to start out by just thanking our fans for coming out. I mean, our student section was electric. I think everyone felt it, and we walked by the tailgate lot and got to see, all the student support, and we walked by the stage from the concert, and just the amount of work that went into it. I think a lot of people came and really created an unbelievable atmosphere out there. It's an advantage to us, and it was an unbelievable atmosphere to play in, and that makes a big difference, and it will make a big difference moving forward. And can't wait to see everyone out there again next time we have a chance, which will be a week from now. Now we got to focus on flying across the country. We've been talking about it for months and getting ready for the adjustment to the time change, and playing a really good football team. They got new pieces than they had last year. With the portal, with new quarterback, 2 new wideouts, still the same defense, but a year older, and so it's going to be a huge challenge, and we leave tomorrow. So we've had a good week of practice, fairly healthy. We played some physical games. Michigan State, Pitt were both really physical games, and our guys have done a good job of hanging in there, and had a good week of practice. So we're excited to get on the plane and get out there, get acclimated, and play on Saturday night.
Delano Ware's from Richmond, California, which is about 90 minutes north of San Jose. How excited is he for this trip?
He's very excited. He's got a little bit of pep in his step this week. We've actually even the music during practice, we've kind of gone with the California flair, which he's appreciated, and he's had some say in what kind of music we played at practice. But I think he's excited, and just to kind of show, there's so many of our players that have never been to California or seen the Pacific Ocean or any of the things that they're going to have a chance to do, that are. It's a business trip. We got a job to do, but there'll be some cool things that they get to do along the way. And this team does a really good job of keeping its focus. But I know that Delano's excited to kind of show everybody what part of the country he's from, so it'll be fun.
This is after last week's loss. This is now twice that you guys have faced top 25 teams, and more than holding your own, especially through the first 3 quarters, both times against State and Pitt. I know there's no moral victories really in that, but is there anything that the team's sort of been able to take away of how close you guys have been, how you've been there, through those first 45 minutes, and really showing what Western Michigan's about? Yeah, I mean,
you're definitely proud of the way they fight and they play hard, and I think defensively we played really well against 2 really good opponents, and offensively we haven't been playing well enough. We've had the ball in our hands with a chance to make a difference in the fourth quarter of 2 games, and we haven't got it done. And those are me and Coach Thorne were talking about that the other day. And we knew we had a lot of new pieces on offense, and it's just going to take time. Our job is to just get that curve. We got to get that curve very steep. And so it's hurt us, but our defense has kept us in it. So it's great to compete into the fourth quarter, but our job is to finish the games. So I think defense has a lot of confidence. Offense, when we've clicked, it's pretty evident what we can be, and we just got to keep getting back to work. Our offense had a great day today. I think they're starting to get more and more comfortable with the calls every single time we call them, and I'm excited to watch them continue to grow. Because I think our special teams is playing at a higher level than it's ever had, really, and our defense is. So once we can get all 3 going, I think we can be a good football team.
That sense of comfort, that you're talking about from that first week of the regular season, trying to prepare for State, going into this week, offensively, how do you sort of feel that comfort has changed or improved these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, considering how much we struggled on offense last week, I was probably most impressed with, the guys staying calm, making adjustments. Unfortunately, our best drive of the game ended up in a pick in the corner of the end zone, but we controlled the line of scrimmage on that drive. I really felt, and then we scored on the next drive. And then they really sat on the ball. I mean, we only had the ball 20 minutes, and they had the ball 40. So they had a plan to not let us be out there much. And when you're not out there much, it's really hard to get into a rhythm. And so when we got into a rhythm in the third quarter, I was proud of the way they just kept fighting. There was no panic on the sideline. I was very impressed with the way they responded to that, and we're getting to know our new linemen better, what they do really well, obviously against scout teams, everything works, and so we've made some adjustments in the second half of the Ball State game and second half of the Pitt game. I got to give credit to that defensive front is about as good as we're going to see. Number 8, number 6, number 2, 87. So they threw us around a little bit up front, and that's something that I don't know if we'll face another front like that. This front's huge and physical too. But, we're learning more about our guys, and they're kind of doing a good job communicating the things they like. And we've talked all summer since the moment we changed our offense that this was going to take time, and I think even when a couple days in camp, we had a couple really good days in camp, and I just keep reminding them, it's going to take time, guys. And they've just been plugging along, so it's been fun to watch them because they keep showing up the same way every day at practice, and that will turn a corner. Our job is just to get it happen soon,
You talk about those challenges of trying to head out west, time change, and just trying to get them adjusted. Obviously, one of many early season challenges. 2 top 25 teams making these trips out west and big time zone changes. How much do you hope that these early season tests are going to just get guys battle tested and battle ready for when you guys do get back to full on action and hopefully make a run in the conference?
Yeah, you are your experiences, right? So you play a top 25 team, then you play a road MAC West opponent, which was probably the biggest game we've had, and then you play another top 25 team. Now we're going. One of the big things we learned about this, you're trying to bank sleep, and we're going to try to get on a different time zone, and then, more and more things just keep getting thrown at you. And we have a resilient group, and it's good to go through these things. It makes you stronger, and so, we've been very transparent about the different things we've been going through and trying to bank sleep this week. And then, the NCAA came in they do random drug testing. So they came in at 5 a.m. It was like, all right, forget about the sleep. We got to get drug tested tomorrow morning, and everything went great, but it's just part of the deal, and our guys, like I was telling them, you just look adversity in the eye and keep your head down and attack, and so I think all these things at the beginning of the season will, put us in a good position, when we get back to conference play here in 3 weeks, maybe, you will be a summation of all the different experiences we've had, and you always revert back to your lowest form of training, when you get into the heat, and these guys have showed up every single day, no matter what's been going on, and attacked it, and we kind of saw that during training camp, how hard they worked, and it's shown it hasn't shown on the scoreboard as much as I want it to yet, but it will for a long season that a college football season is. It's going to help us as we hit mid-season and towards the end.
Can you expand a little bit on how your team is using sleep banking to kind of get ready for that 10:30 Eastern kickoff on Saturday?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that go into the whole we've been talking to everyone I can talk to for months. And obviously, my very first game here, we played at USC. So we have done this before, and we played a great game out there. So it's important when we make the change to a different time zone, which we will tomorrow. The amount of sleep we try to bank an extra hour. Try to get them to go to bed an extra hour every single day because it's going to be a long day tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to go onto their time zone, and we're going to adjust to their time, and we'll go to bed at 10 o'clock, which will be 1 a.m. tomorrow. And get up at 8. And then we get to practice there a day, and there's a lot. That's the first thing that'll help their bodies make the adjustment. There's about 20 other things we're doing as far as how we handle ourselves on the plane, things we wear on the plane, get up and moving around on the plane, things we do when we land. So we've talked to pretty much every expert we can to try to put the best plan together. And but the first part, the only thing they could do now is hydrate and get an extra hour of sleep and bank the sleep. Because tomorrow is going to be a long day. They're going to get up here and come into practice, and then we're going to get on a plane and fly there, and it's going to be a long day. And so we don't want them sleeping tomorrow. We want them up. So hopefully they can bank that sleep to get this transitional day tomorrow in a good place. And they still got another day. If they didn't do a great job tomorrow, they still got Friday to get adjusted. But if they do a good job, which they have, we'll be ready to go and have a great practice Friday morning, and then we'll be on their time and wake up Saturday. And I've been told football is going to be on at 9 in the morning, and game day starts at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning for me. So it'll be different when we wake up on Saturday morning, but we'll be on their time by then.
If you go to bed at 1 a.m. and then you have to get up for a random drug test at 5 a.m., seems pretty inconvenient. Were you upset when that
No.
just happened this week?
No, they call. It's random throughout the year. They come and they do their thing, and we didn't go to. Hopefully didn't go to bed at 1 a.m. But they tell you the night before. I think it was Monday night. We had the meeting Monday morning. Told them to get an extra hour of sleep, and find out Monday afternoon they were coming Tuesday morning. And they came. Our guys were there. Everything went well, but it happens. And it was one of the. It was like 20. I forget the exact number. I should probably know it. 25, 30 guys, 40 guys, randomly selected. But it happens once a year, twice a year. I think my first year we had it 3 times. It's very. They do a good job of running the whole thing, and it just so happened to be the week that we're going with 3 time zones down. But it is what it is. That's not going to be an excuse, and we have plenty of time to make sure they get their sleep. I'm giving them an extra hour of sleep tomorrow, bringing them in an hour later. So they all believe in the plan, and we're going to get that out of the way as an excuse. As once we're adjusted, then it's about football, and that's what we need to make it about.
Last week you were facing an offense that really was intent on running the ball, didn't really want to put it in the air that much. It seems like it'll be quite a bit different this week.
Yeah.
San Jose State moved for almost 300 yards on Auburn. Just talk about some of the challenges that this Spartans offense poses.
Well, their quarterback, it came from Hawaii, number 2. He's a dynamic player. He's got a cannon for an arm, super athletic. Their top 2 wideouts came from Nevada, and they were starters there in Nevada and have done a great job for them. So they definitely have skill. They throw it 75% of the time, which is a little bit different than last week. So it's going to be a great challenge. Hard to get to this guy, one, because he's so elusive, but they're gonna drop back and throw it to those wideouts, and we're gonna have to make plays. It'll be a great challenge for our secondary, great challenge for our defensive line to make sure that he feels the rush coming his way, and then getting that guy to the ground isn't easy either. So totally different game than last week, but that's part of the fun of college football. Depending on what kind of offense you play. You go from one week watching a team that's just they're 330 across the board with extra offensive linemen in there running it at you, and now they're going to be spread out. They're going to run empty, and we're going to have to be able to stop them. So I know our DBs are excited about the challenge, and it's going to be exciting. But it's a tough group to stop.
Having an explosive defensive end like Marshawn Nealon available certainly could help you out in this matchup. Is he going to be ready?
I would say no. He could be maybe an emergency guy. He's moved around this week. He's really close. If he's not 100%, though, I don't want to do that for that young man, because I think he could have a great year, and I don't want him playing at 75% or 50% all year because we brought him back too early. It's fun to see him out there again running around. So I could see him being, at best, an emergency guy this week, and maybe a little bit more the following week, hoping he's 100% by the time we start conference play, or we're back to conference play, I should say. But he'll be with us. He's coming, and if he turns a corner, I could see us throwing him in there because he's really close.
Any other guys questionable due to injuries?
No, as physical as a first couple games as we've had, our guys, we got bumps and bruises, but our guys are fairly healthy, which has been, it's kudos to our strength staff and our training staff and our guys for taking care of their bodies, and because it's not like we've backed down from being physical. Especially defensively, we've flown around, and so that those guys are all, still feeling good and able to go is a great thing.
After having some days to break down the tape from that Pitt game, what did you think of the way that Jack played, and also kind of the pocket that he had to throw in? Like you mentioned, that was a really good defensive front.
Yeah.
Just talk about the protection in front of him, and then also what he was able to do.
Yeah, the protection wasn't as bad as it appeared. He got a little rattled, and the first interception he threw was on us, was on the coaches. Bottom line, we shouldn't have put him in that situation. He didn't see the corner corner fell off. But the next two, he misread coverage on one and he just hesitated on the other, and a couple of sacks where he was hot, and that's sometimes what people don't know is whether the O-line let a guy through or was that guy supposed to be unblocked and we're supposed to throw off him, and if we don't throw it, you take a sack. That happened on the play before the interception. I know Jack wants that one back. I mean, he was hot. He had a guy open, should have been a touchdown. Instead, we took a sack and then threw a pick on the next play, and that was going to tie the game late in the third quarter. So he got hit one time early on. We ID'd one front, and they got a clean runner, and Jack took a pretty good shot. So he has to continue to settle down. It reminds me of Caleb's Ohio game or John Watsink's Michigan State game. I mean, there's always one of the first 3 or 4 where he really struggled, and he struggled. I didn't sugarcoat with him. I met with him twice this week and went through the tape and told him where he needs to be better. And we can protect him better, and we need to run the ball better, and we do a lot of things to help the quarterback out. But against a team like that, run game isn't easy to come by, and you're going to need to throw the ball effectively. And we didn't read coverage fairly well. We weren't very accurate, and we're still in the game. And those are the things we need to continue to get better at, our focus and our details, because our details weren't great. Our footwork, where our eyes were as a quarterback, those are things we can control no matter how intense the game. Those are non-negotiables, and some of those things were slipping a little bit, and some of them turned into big things, and hesitation on that one corner route, the big pick. It was a good read. You just got to throw it on time. You throw it a second late, and it's picked, and so that's how you learn. Unfortunately, I wish there was another way to learn with young quarterbacks, but unfortunately, having to live through a couple games like that are sometimes the tough way and the best way to learn. I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad he's taking it to heart. He's had a good week, but he definitely struggled. He was in a tough scenario, and I'm glad he lived through it, and I'm glad that because he'll be better off because of it.
Coach, A.J. Abbott and Jelani Galloway are starting to show up and starting to have an impact. Are those 2 wide receivers what you expected when you brought them in from Boston College in Wisconsin?
Yeah, veterans, know what they're doing. Jelani picked up the offense immediately. Something about that kid. I mean, obviously a Boston College grad, really sharp. And he can actually play multiple positions, and he's steady Eddie. You know what you're going to get every single time with him. And AJ is working really hard. He was a little bit later than Jelani getting here, but man, he can run. We haven't really seen it yet. There was a play against Ball State where he caught a crosser and got shoestring tackled. I wanted everyone to see him open up because when he opens up, he can run. We haven't had a chance to see it yet. We have. But not the world. So I'm excited for him to have a chance to get in the open and show his speed a little bit, and that'll come soon. It was great to get him behind coverage, and Sambucci put a great ball on him for his first touchdown, which was nice. And that group just needs to keep working, right? Keep swinging. That's the motto on the offense. Keep swinging. We knew coming in, keep swinging, because it's not gonna. We haven't been doing it for 3 years. It's not gonna happen overnight. And 2 of our 4 receivers got here a couple months ago. So they've been fun to watch because they are getting better every day, and it's going to make us stronger every single time we go out there.
And how close is the run game from being where you want it to be?
If we win, it's good enough, and if we lose, it's not. I think in the third quarter, we finally got the run game going a little bit, and going one-on-one blocking against those guys, 8 and 6, was tough. We had to try to get our double teams squared away, and then they split our double teams a couple times. We missed a couple cuts as running backs, but not many. We have to be better in the run game, and so we have to be better all over. So I think I know who we have. You look at the end of the Ball State game when we really started getting it going and leaning. That's kind of what I expect. I expect 5 yards carry, and we weren't able to get that done against Pitt. It's a hard defense to do that against, but I think we're good enough to do it. We just have to keep at it and figure out the best 5 linemen. We've rotated a little bit as we try to figure out the best combination up there, and we've done it this week too. We've rotated a bunch of guys up there because we need to be better, I think, up there. And we have enough bodies. We just need to find the right 5.
And how do you compare the Mid-American Conference with Mountain West?
It's interesting. I mean, we've only played, who have we played? We played Nevada last year, and then we played this team, San Jose. I think those are the only 2 we played thus far, and really, really great skill. I mean, look at, we didn't have to play Carson Strong, thank God. It was fun to watch him on film, just the skill players and that the league has, the guys that can run around. They always seem to have some quarterbacks that can really play. If you look in the NFL, you see a lot of Mountain West quarterbacks. So they definitely have great skill. I think they're defensively pretty physical, flying around. And I know the coaches at San Diego State only because he's a MAC guy, and I know a couple guys on that staff, and they're a physical group out there at San Diego State. So I think it's very similar, and that's what makes games, I think, between them a lot of fun, So it'll be a big challenge for us to have in our 3rd Mountain West game, but every game's a little different. They got the transfer portal has changed their offense completely. Last year we knocked out their quarterback, and then they scored 3 points because we knocked out their quarterback. This time they got a new quarterback, new wideouts, so it's going to be a whole different ball game, and now we got to go and play away. So it'll be a big challenge, and we're excited to get out there to California.